You are now listening to CTR Media Network.
The family. CTR Media Network. Yeah. Best in the biz. Yeah. Join the team. CTR is who we are, the media network, that's the best by far. Whether you listen at your home, at your job, in your car, come get the information that's needed above par. Never lasting, motivational podcasting, giving you the answers to the questions that you're asking. Serious talks and topics, how to come up and profit, how to better yourself, your health is here. We got it, reaching 350 million, they tuning in. We in 50 different countries, we all can. And like-minded, find your purpose and your assignment. Come get your fix, your feel, your mental alignment. Get active and speak to the masses. Build your influence all levels and all classes. Now you know you can monetize and grow. CTR Media Network. Start the show. CTR Media Network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to CTR Media Network TV, where we spotlight entrepreneurs making an impact through media and marketing. Today, we are super excited to be joined by Swire Ho, aka the promo guy, and entrepreneurs who he has indeed mastered the art of building customer loyalty, driving referrals, and leaving a lasting impression. From sound engineering to running a successful promotional marketing company, Swire Ho's journey is packed with lessons for anyone wanting to grow their brand authentically. So now we're going to have a great discussion on beyond marketing, building loyalty, referrals, and lasting impressions with Swire Ho. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome, Dr. Tina.
You are most welcome. I'm so excited to have you here because, I mean, when I saw what you do, I was like, ooh, he is absolutely amazing. So when I think about what you do and how you transition from entertainment to promotional marketing, what key lesson you would say that you carried from entertainment on into the promotional marketing space?
I think hindsight is 2020 because first you have to recognize the opportunity. So in the entertainment industry, giving you more background, I was in the CD and DVD replication business. If you're old enough like me, when you still have CD in your shelf, that's going away. So when we were helping an entertainment industry, sometimes when musician or film company, when they finish the album or when they go on to premiere, they ask, do we do t-shirts? Do we do hats? So that's how I stumbled upon that industry. And in 2013, a competitor actually wanted to buy us out in the CD business. So looking back, we sold at the right time. And then now we focus exclusively, doing promotional product for our clients.
I love that. It just shows that you had the foresight to know when to pivot. Because I am old enough, I still have CDs in my home to this day. All right. I still have a CD player and I use it. However, we know everything transitioned into digital, Blu-ray and all of that. So you made a good move transitioning from entertainment to promotional. And I don't feel anything is going to ever leave in regards to the industry of promotional because we're going to need that all the time, especially as business owners. But you speak a lot about how we can turn our audience into our referral base, how we can build a loyal client base. But a lot of entrepreneurs, when I think about this, they struggle with trying to find their audience in the beginning. What are give me just a few simple steps someone can take to start identifying their client base or their audience?
Well, I think it's a very straightforward question, and I do ask my clients a lot. So I see that we spend a lot of money acquiring a customer, right? Doing all the ads, social media, we're out there networking, hustling. But when they actually became your customer, they bought your product or services, I ask them, how much money or effort do you spend on retaining them? A lot of time I get a blank stare or no answer. We don't spend anything to retain a client, just to make sure that they become repeat customers. So sometimes it's strange, right? You spend all this money getting them through your door. Once they became a customer, you actually don't do nothing to retain them.
That is a good, interesting point. we spend all this time and effort promoting flyers, videos, ad placement, going to networking events to promote what we do. Then we actually get that customer or client. But we don't ever talk about how we're going to hold the retention. So when I'm thinking about retention acquisition, what is just one thing that we can do to start trying to shift our mind to not just trying to get past the initial sale?
Yeah, because when you think about it, if you're unhappy about a company, you tell everybody, right? Everyone would know how horrible they are. But if you provide the best service available, but you don't let them talk about it, people forget about it. Even if you had the best experience ever in your life, right? In your career, if you don't tell them to tell others, they're not going to. So that's why in your retention program, it could be no cost. You could, as little as, getting a phone call, thank you for your order. I just want to make sure that what we provide for you, our product and services, have left up to your expectation. If they have any suggestion, you listen to it because they're giving you best advice. After your call, you ask them, do you happen to know a friend, colleagues, or family members that could use our product or services? Would you mind to make an introduction? Then you're getting your referrals. And if they are even more happy about your service, have them do a testimonial for you. Have them write you reviews on social media. So these actually are happy customer just waiting for you to ask that question.
Yeah, because many times as entrepreneurs, we just don't ask the customer or client that we know is satisfied with our service to do a review. And I know personally, before I even buy anything new, I'm looking at what other people say about the product, what other people experience. I mean, how many times do you go to the review first or go to YouTube and say, let me see, can I find out something else about this product before I actually purchase it? So we forget as entrepreneurs or as business owners that people are doing the exact same thing for us. But the problem is, do we have anything for them to see? Do we have anything? And so you made it very simple, something that can be complex. You made it very simple, like just call them, have a conversation.
Yeah. And it's so much easier to have a repeat customer order from you because they did all the research already. They will filter you, they interview you, you passed that point already. So it will be a lot easier to sell to existing customer than to always go out there and get new prospect. It's just a simple process. And what is the last time you review who have ordered from you in the past, let's say 12 months, and reconnect with them? Can they use your service again? Chances are that's a lot of referrals. There's a lot of repeat business that you're missing out.
I agree with you on that, because when I think about all the things that we have done just in general, and I'm thinking about we need to keep recycling the people and the customers and clients that we know that we are bringing a happy experience for. And that is something I feel that all business owners can truly benefit from. But you know what? With entrepreneurship, it can be very difficult for people. We know we need to network, but we don't know how. And then we hear different venues that we should look at as an entrepreneur. But one in particular people say I hear throughout is the Chamber of Commerce. So do you feel that it's a good idea for us as business owners to join the Chamber of Commerce or to join their programs? And how does that look if we decide to join? What should we be doing once we join?
That's a great question. Chamber of Commerce is always a good place to start, especially if you're in a particular industry. You don't have to go to chamber, or you could go to your industry related association. There's a lot of those. The goal before you actually run out and sign up for 20 networking events is, who are your ideal clients? Meaning who in your research will spend the most money with you, buy the most expensive product and services that you have, and is happy to work with you. So those are your ideal client. And you have to answer the question yourself, where do they hang out? Are they at Chamber of Commerce? Are they at association meeting, trade show? Are they on the golf course? So by answer those questions, you know exactly where you want to go. And people are everywhere, and you don't have to be everywhere. You have to be focused.
That is so true. You said the key word focus. And so basically we need to take time to learn our business and learn the people who we service and determine based upon that information where we should go to find more people like that in order to purchase our service. And then focus on not just the one-time sale, but how can we retain this customer or client for the long haul? Great tips and also strategies on how we can actually grow that loyal base. But how do we get to the point? Because another thing, especially with podcasters, is having people to share what it is that you do, whether it's a podcast episode, whether it's a product or service. How do we go from having that loyal base to having those people turn it into our marketing machines, our marketing magnets for us willingly?
Yeah, this takes some thinking into it. Because a lot of times, especially in my industry in promotional product, people will come in, maybe they redesign the logo, maybe they just open their business. They're really proud of their logo and they want everyone to have it. So when I ask them, who should have your product? They said everybody. But not everyone are like you, enthusiasts about your brand, and sometimes we buy what we like. We're not buying what the audience like to receive. It's a really important question. I like a certain things, but my audience might like something else. So if you are thinking about, people sharing your thing, you got to give them something that they like, right? People love to win. People like to win contests. People like to be feel like they're elevator status. So a lot of times what I call a brand ambassador, going back to the retention call, if you know that customer are happy with your services and they order 10 times from you already this year, give them something to show off to their friends or colleagues. So that could be maybe like a branded t-shirt, a thank you gift, that they are going to use at the office. So when they have a colleague or family members come to their place, who'll give you that really nice gift. And then they will actually talk about your services, just by you giving them the gift and maybe training them a little bit how you should tell others about what we have done for you. Little training goes a long way.
That's a great idea, because many times we see these brand ambassador opportunities for other companies, but we can implement it for ourselves. And I like the part where you said training. A little training goes a long way. So you create this program, give them some direction so they'll understand what to do, and then give them some sort of incentive for actually sharing what it is that we do with the people that they know. And so I know that's creating a win-win effect, and people like to be appreciated. They like to have recognition. And we need more people to promote. So it's just like a win-win situation. They're getting what they want to need. We get what we want to need. And so I think that's absolutely amazing. Now, when people think about, you already gave us how we can find our target audience, how we can identify our loyal fan base. But is there any type of resources for business owners that may be available for small businesses that we can take advantage of to help us in any of these areas that we discussed today?
I think by identify who your ideal clients are, because sometimes small business owner, myself included, we wanted to go broad, right? So maybe we own a fitness gym, maybe we have a cleaning service. Everyone needs cleaning, right? But you have to answer yourself, more question. Who could afford your product and services? What kind of title they are, maybe a demographics, maybe a certain age group, right? So then you can actually answer a lot of the marketing question, where do they hang out? What kind of magazines they read, or what kind of social media platform. You can't be on all the social media platforms. You got to pick one or two and be very good at it. And then when you come to promotional product, I'm going to ask you the same question. Who are you targeting? Where are they going to be hanging out? Because we have over 5,000 items. You don't need to see all of them, and not all 5,000 works for you. So by focusing, and don't be afraid to niche, these are my client. I've only had 20 people that I'm targeting. That's your 20. So once you get into groove, you could do other campaigns. So I think the common misconception is we have to go broad. No, you can focus. If these are your client, then you could, focus more energy and actually know who they are, like what they want, what do they want from you, and what do they hoping to, maybe solve their pain point by using your product and services.
That's a good point. We hear this so much in business where people say, who is your ideal client, or how can your product or service help? Who do your product and service help? Mm-hmm. And they say everybody.
Yes.
Everybody, help everybody. And so we get ourselves caught up, like you said, in this very broad spectrum. And we wonder why we hit and miss so many times, because we need to focus and we need to close in the gap. And once we have I feel like it takes an amount of courage for entrepreneurs and a mindset shift for them to really be like, okay, I'm going to shorten this. I'm not going to be as broad, and I'm going to focus. And like you said, you can have so many thousands of products, but at the end of the day, they're only going to take a product or two or three, maybe five at a time, depending on upon what type of business you got. So what is your top selling products? What is it that's resonating with people? And how are you going to be able to keep this person coming back year in and year out?
Yeah, there are two quick ways you could do it. For example, if you've been in the business for a while, right? So you want to look back at your accounting system for the past 12 months, for example. Who are your top 10 clients? Look at maybe the amount that they spend, or the amount that they business that they give you. Answer the question, who are they? What kind of, why they buy from you? Be honest with yourself and ask the question, how do I clone these people? What are the people that I can come in contact with that are like my top 10 client who spend the most money with me? So that would be a good way to start if you haven't done that exercise before. Or if you say, okay, I'm just started. I have 0 client. I'm started out brand new. So you can dream about your best client, who will spend the most money with you, who will treat you like an advisor and not like a vendor one-off. And then who will be these people, like that go through all the title, demographics, where do they hang out? So you can actually answer all the questions and don't spend another dime to areas that you don't need to spend.
That's a good point, because we can get into, I'll say, the rabbit hole of spending money in advertisement in certain areas of the advertisement that we don't need. And I feel that what you do in promotion is one of those things. We want someone to promote. We want someone to advertise. We want someone to sound the alarm on what we're doing, but we may not need another form of marketing. So really looking at what it is we need for the type of business that we have, I feel like that is really going to help us a lot. And what set your type of marketing apart from a traditional marketing that's out there today with promotional marketing?
I always like that question. Sometimes people want to debate me with the effectiveness of, like, say, buying a Google ad than buying, tote bags, pens, things anymore. So my approach to this answer is, you don't have to pick one. So obviously you have to pick the goal. What would you like to achieve? Is it brand awareness? Is it for employee loyalties or retention? So different things call for different ideas. For example, let's say you only have $500, a nominal amount. You can't do too much with that. But what I would suggest people to do, a lot of us already have a social media following. Maybe we have a, going on Instagram page, Facebook page, or we have ongoing traction on TikTok. Do a sweepstakes. Instead of buying 500 or 10,000 pens from me, buy one thing that is $500. Very nice gift already, $500. Your goal is to use your social media platform to do a sweepstakes for your call to action. Maybe it's book a call with me, or schedule for a consultation, or just simple as follow our newsletter. And then you get a chance to win this $500 gift, which is branded with our logo, right? With the company's logo. You'll be surprised how many people will sign up, tag a friend, give up their email, phone number. I've done so for like less than $10, coupon that people are trying to give me.
Wow. Yeah. And then it's fun.
Yeah.
Like,
it's fun.
people, they want to have fun.
They want to win.
They want to win. But yeah, the whole activity of it is fun in itself, but it also, people want to win. So I just think about myself and the reason why I enter sweepstakes, and so we need to make sure that we look at ourselves like other people look at certain things. And so I don't see too many businesses doing sweepstakes. So that's a good twist on promotional marketing. And what I find with promotional marketing is that it is the type of marketing that I really prefer because it actually actively engage with the people. Mm-hmm. It is designed to get them excited, get them engaged, show them that you appreciate them. And for me, the reason why I like promotional marketing a little bit better than most is because it helped build a community.
Yeah.
Because now those people become kind of like your secondary family. They're like, yes, I love your brand. Yes, I wear this and different things like that. So because they get excited. And so I think with promotional marketing, that's what most businesses are missing. So I hope from this interview, they see that if every type of marketing that you've been using thus far have not been working, and you have not tried promotional marketing, I really feel that that is something that you should do, because I have been doing it for years. And it has been the one form of marketing that has worked for me for years and years and years. And I don't see a lot of businesses doing it enough. And I'm like, why are you not doing promotional marketing? So I'm so glad that you're here today. But what we're going to do, we're going to take a commercial break, and then we're going to come back in a moment. Okay.
All right.
Hello, my name is Alethea Tucker, and I am the CEO of Jolie's Enterprises. I'm also the host of a show entitled Reinvent and Rise, and the host of a podcast entitled Leveling Up the Podcast with Alethea Tucker. I recently had the distinct pleasure of working with Tina Ramsey and CTR Media Network in one of her programs, where she taught me how to get exposure for my podcast. She increased my visibility tremendously, and she showed me how to monetize both of my shows to make them revenue generating products. I am so ecstatic and so happy with the service that she and her staff provided to me. She went above and beyond what I expected, and I certainly got far more than I ever dreamed I would get with her. So I highly recommend her for any of her programs. I highly recommend her as someone to go to if you are looking to increase what you do with your podcast, make it better. If you're looking to get visibility, definitely speak with her. You will not go wrong with her or anyone on her staff.
And just like that, we are back. I'm so excited to have Swire Ho here. He is actually helping us to reshape our mind in regards to how we can market and promote whatever it is that we do, whether it's our business, whether it's a podcast. And he is also enlightening us on the benefits of promotional marketing for you, your podcast, and your brand, giving us some insight, tips, and strategies on how we can be more successful with it. So now I'm going to bring back Swire Ho back to the interview. And what is one thing that a small business owner can do today that can help them with customer referrals? Because that's another thing. We want retention, but how do they actually start the process to get referrals?
I think if you don't ask, you don't get. So I think going back, sticking with my original answer is you have to let them know that you want referrals. Because sometimes if you don't call them, if you don't let them know, people might think you're okay, like they don't need to refer you. But by asking them, not once, but all the time, like letting you know that you have a referral program, we live for a referral. So if you do think of, friend, colleagues, or family members, do you send it out to them? Because I'm surprised that a lot of people just don't ask for referrals.
Yeah, that's true. We don't, or we don't ask enough. I would say we may ask 1 or 2 times, and then all of a sudden we don't say anything else. But you talk about something that I think is important, which is power partners. So the question I want to know the answer to is, what exactly is a power partner, and how is having a power partner can help you grow your business?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I think that's very important. For example, if you are in my industry in promotional product, right? So like there will be companies or others who serve a mutual client, but we don't have competition together. For example, for let's say a fitness coach will be maybe a dietitian or maybe a doctor, or maybe if you're in the trade business, then you could be in HVAC, or you could partner with a roofer. It goes on and on. So people who could serve the mutual client, and maybe you're on the lookout for each other. Imagine, for example, when you start a business, you have to go through the business formation. Maybe you need to talk to a lawyer. Maybe you have to talk to a CPA, right? Maybe a bookkeeper. What if they form their own power group? So whenever we know that there's a business is forming new, then we go through all the members that we have, and then it becomes a circle, right? So we're on the lookout for each other.
I love that, because one thing that I have learned as I start building and scaling is that you may start by yourself, but you don't need to remain by yourself. You need other people. You need other businesses. And that is really how you build that economy that lasts, that can actually carry over generation to generation, because you can't do it by yourself all the time. And so I have never heard anyone talk about the power partner. And so when you just explained it, that's like a secret weapon. Like, okay, I have this person, like you have your own economy, and then your guys, it spreads out. So if you don't have a power partner, people, you need to get you some power partners in your life so that you can expand your business. So thank you so much for explaining that. You have been an entrepreneur for over 17 plus years. So what is one of the biggest lessons you would say that you learned from your entrepreneurship journey?
I think really sticking with customer is always right. Like in the beginning of my journey, I was so much younger, right, back then. So when a customer wanted to tell me something, maybe not a complaint, maybe a concern, I get defensive, right? Because I'm really proud of my product and services. And I get into discussion, arguments sometimes that I think shouldn't happen at all. Like I should, right now, I think listening to the customer can actually give me an edge. So they could tell me that actually they will do the market research for me. Your competitor is doing all this. Why don't you do that? Or I found this somewhere. So they can actually help me broaden out my spheres. Maybe I haven't thought about that before, but by them pointing out complaint or concern sometime, it will actually help me a lot learning about my business, because some of us will hire like a consulting firm, a lot of money to find that from us. But if actually a customer call you to tell you such a thing, you should actually put out and start listening and writing stuff down.
I agree with you. Sometimes we have to, as business owners, because we're so deeply invested in what we do, we believe in what we do so much that it becomes like a whole person to us, a baby, perhaps. And someone come in and want to poke the baby. We were like, wait a minute now. It took me this amount of time, this much education, this amount of investment. You trying to tell me how to run my business? Excuse you. But you're right. We can get sensitive. And so you're giving us some good advice as business owners. Don't take it personal. Listen to what they're saying, and then use that information, because it's just simply feedback, how they're really feeling on the other end. And as you were speaking about before, I feel like this is one of the key things that's going to help us be able to retain that particular client for the long haul, because we're listening and then they see us implement, and then they're happy. And now they're going to want to go and tell somebody else. Oh, let me tell you, Swire Ho business is absolutely amazing. He got the best promotion. Like I told him that I wanted my logo, centered a little off center because of the way that I do my business, but he didn't really want to do it, but he did it anyway. And I love how it went out. And now listen, he listened to you. He produced your content like you wanted, not the way he wanted. Guess what? That's 5-10 people right there that's going to be like, listen, I need you to work with my logo, put this on my business flyers, because people want what they want, and they want it the way that they want. And I had to learn that as well. So I agree with you. I've been guilty of that too. So I had to learn to be humble and just be like, okay, let me listen. and now let me make the adjustments that's necessary in order to make what we do better. So I feel that's some good advice. Go ahead.
And Tina, I think you touched on a good point. Like we all have, I'm sure you have, we call it big business before, like, Fortune 500 company, we try to address our concern, but that at the end of the day, they're not going to do anything. But as small business professional, if a client point out that something that you could change in your ability, change it today. For example, I'm now dealing with much younger client than in my age. I call them. They don't like me call them. It's like, don't call me. I prefer you texting me. So guess what I do? I invest in a texting software. I communicate with them with text. So I actually learn how they like to communicate, what time they will be mostly available. So I actually meet them where they are. So communication methods, how they like it. I know that they hate pink, so I never show them anything pink. So if this is something that you could do easily, do it today.
That's a good point. Meet them where they're at with their way or form of communication that they like. Like, I know my generation, we get on the telephone, we get on the phone. We're going to talk to you, right? But like you said, this younger generation, don't you call me, send me a text message. If I don't answer your email, you can send me a text message. Do not call me without getting a text message first saying that I am available. Like, it's just a different culture of how we communicate now since we transition into this, I call it microcosm of digital, the virtual world, right? We live in invisible, but it's virtual. So we have to learn how to communicate. And everything is kind of shift now ever since we've been through COVID, that people are more digital connected. Because look at us now. We're connecting through a virtual TV show. Like 15, 20 years ago, you're going to be coming to my studio, not meeting me on a virtual. So you're right. Keep up. You have something else you want to say?
No, it's just we have our CRM software, right? Like I take notes. Like I sometimes they won't tell me directly, but if I know that they behave a certain way or they respond to me after 3 p.m., for example, I'll actually take notes for myself as a salesperson. So whenever that I reach out, I look at all my notes. So I really try to understand who they are, how they like to communicate, like things that they like to do. So once I work with them to be a repeat customer, I know sometimes I know better about themselves than they are.
Because you're paying attention. And I like what you just said, where you have a CRM system and you write notes. So, every CRM system don't have a place where you can actually put notes in, but I have one too, because as you expand, you need to know each customer and each client when you are a small business owner, to know those little nuances about them. Like Swire said, he noticed a pattern of behavior with his certain clients that they respond at after 3 p.m.
Yeah.
So guess what he do? He reach out at 3 p.m. because he knows they're more likely going to be in a good mood. They're going to respond and you're going to be able to get the result that you want. So we all need to take time. That is a good tip for us, to take time to really analyze the time frames when they are more inclined to listen, be more inclined to shop, be more inclined to give feedback and all that good stuff, so that we can retain them and keep them as a happy, loyal client or customer. So is there anything else you would like to share with us before we go?
Well, I think that, Tina, you touch on a lot of good points. You bring out a lot of good information. But I think really to find out who your ideal clients are, and don't be afraid to niche down. If these type of client, especially you have to ask yourself too, there are obviously people that you like to work with better than the others. Maybe it's because of personality, maybe the amount of the order, maybe it's just some people just more appreciate about you than others. Some people that we just don't want to work with, even if they pay me. So that could be your filter, right? So we wanted to work with people who pay us full price, who appreciate what we do and listen to us like an advisor. So who are these people? And, it's up to you to find out.
That is so true. I did think of something else that I wanted to ask. Many businesses today, I know that the government is looking kind of funny right now with all of this different stuff that's going on, but there still is government contracting going on today. So for a small business owner, is obtaining a government contract very difficult for them to be able to do? And is it something in particular that you have seen that made small business owners not be able to qualify for a government contract in order to help their business?
I think this is an important question, and it could take long, but I will try to keep it short. It does work well if you already have, you got to have your financial, you have the tax return in place, because if you get the certification, they will ask for all the documents. It is kind of a longer process, but think about this. They make it really not easy to do business with them, but once you're in, and if you can learn the system, you actually don't find a lot of competition in there because it's just so many paperwork. You have to know how to buy. So, and then it goes back to knowing the buyer. Like government contracting, buying, it's a long process. It takes a lot of department involved. So if you do your work and if you do your research, it's worthwhile. I think it's a lot of good opportunities in there.
Yes, and you can elaborate, because this is something that most business owners don't even think about. They feel like they wouldn't even qualify. So I keep telling business owners that they have to, as well as podcasters who have a business with their podcast, you have to have your financial statements. You have to have your documents together. But like you said, there are not much competition, and some of those contracts, government contracts, can be life-changing for a small business owner. They can actually hit their whole revenue goal with one contract for the year, because there's really some good contracts. So could you give them a little bit more tips about it, or elaborate a little bit more? Because I know you kind of made it short because we was going to end, but no, I want you to take your time.
Okay. For example, using myself as an example, right? So there are different agencies, federal, state, and your local municipal government. So they don't really talk to each other. That their own certification. So for example, for Garuda Promo, I'm Asian, so I'm qualified as a minority-owned business. We also a women-owned business, so we actually have certification in there. We're small enough that we can actually qualify for a federal certification called DBE, Disadvantaged Business Enterprises. And then once we get certified, I looked at which agency will recognize my certification, right? So they actually, people don't talk about that a lot. They actually set aside for a certain certification. For example, we have won a T-shirt order from the Army just because they were looking at women-owned business only, and they were looking for made in USA apparel only. So we actually check all the check boxes. So by going out there are at least thousands of people and company like me. But by going through the certification, going through the set aside, there are a total of 3 companies that was bidding for it. So actually, I narrowed down our winning chances just so much higher. You have to find a niche, and again, not all contract is worth your time. You know, sometimes they will send you contracts that you know at the end you're not making money. Then don't bid for it.
That is some great information, because companies are looking for ways to be able to hit their target mark, because we have expenses, we have to pay people, we have things that we have to do, and we don't even realize all of this money that's still available for small to medium business owners, because we're just looking at the linear way of how to make money, just through clients, just through products. But there's government contracts, there's sponsorships, there are corporate deals. There are a lot of different things that you can do in order to expand your business from a monetary standpoint. And he knows how to do all this. So I encourage you guys to reach out to him, because that will make for an extensive conversation. But just that information that you gave us just now with government contracting and getting those certifications, making sure our financials are in place, and in that arena, niching down what it is that we do so that we can greater our chances to get approved, was just absolutely amazing. So, Swire, is there anything else you would like to share with our audience, or something that you would tell them to do, the one thing that they could do right now in order to change their business or change their retention? Anything?
I would say go back really to, if you're in business for a while, look at the past 3 years. Like, who give you the most business? Are they the same type of people, or are they changing? And then ask yourself, at least look at your top 10 or top 20 if you have time. How did you find them as a business, right? How did you win their business? Like, what did you do? Or and ask yourself, what kind of media or what kind of podcast or what kind of social media platform they're going to be on. You can actually answer a lot of your question when next time when you spend in marketing. If you're new in business, you just started it, really to dream of a perfect client, pay full price, everything, right? Who are they? And then go through the same question. Then you won't waste any money in the future on just spending marketing. Like, people will call you and ask for your heart and dollar, but you don't need to spend money on all of them.
I agree with you. So where can our audience connect with you?
Thank you. If you'd like to learn more about our company, you can go to our website at garudapromo.com. I love networking, so you can always find me on LinkedIn. So if you go on LinkedIn, type in Swire Ho, I'll be there. And if you want to learn more about what I said about promotional product, you can actually Google me, Swire Ho, #the promo guy. You'll see some of the things that I've said.
Well, I would like to thank you so much for coming on, sharing all your expertise and your knowledge, and broadening our perspective in regards to the type of marketing that we can do, and actually expanding our viewing and listening audience to now think about promotional marketing, because I don't really think that people think about that as much, but that has been, I'm giving y'all a secret. That's been my secret sauce for all these years. I might not have said it, but I'm giving it to you now since he's here. This has really been my secret sauce for all of these years. This form of marketing, promotional marketing, which is, it feeds me and it feeds them. I put it like that because I like the interaction. And it's fun. It keeps me motivated, and they like receiving it. So it's like a win-win situation. So thank you for all those tips and strategies. And we are so happy that you was a featured guest on CTR Media Network TV.
Thank you, Tina.
You are most welcome. So you know how we do. We want you guys to go and download our CTR Media Network app so you can watch Swire Ho and all of our other amazing interviews that's on CTR Media Network TV, as well as all of our other podcasts. We have over 30 shows that are there right now, from educational information to entrepreneurship, career development, homeschooling, entertainment. The list goes on and on. So go download the app. It's absolutely free, and check it out on today. Make it easy. Go ahead and scan it. Yes, and for those of you who would like to meet me in person, you finally got me out the house, out of the office and out of the house. At the end of this year, fourth quarter, October the 11th, you'll be able to see and meet me live, but I'm not going by myself. These are my power partners, okay? What Swire Ho was mentioning in his interview, which is, I didn't know they was my power partners until he described it. So this is exactly what they are, my power partners. So we're going to be talking about everything in regards to media and wealth. How can you build up your finances? What you need to do as a business owner, a podcaster, or just personally in life. We're going to be sharing with you how we was able to achieve our level of success and how you can duplicate our system and do the exact same thing. So it's going to be in Columbia, South Carolina. If you would like to be a vendor or a sponsor, go to ctrmedianetwork.com and click on the top of our website, and you can be able to find out how much it is to be a sponsor, a vendor, or even go and purchase your tickets on today. I would love to see you there. I am so excited about this particular episode and all the information that he has given us. So like always, you guys have a great, amazing rest of your day, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place. Talk to you later.
CTR Media Network is now accepting new podcasters to join our growing network that's reaching 350 million global listeners. Have you heard? CTR Media Network offers podcast production, podcast training, distribution, and product placement. Book us for your next event or schedule an interview with CTR Media Network podcasters today. To learn more, go to ctrmedianetwork.com.